So, oh, hey there!
Hey.
Welcome
Hey.
to, this is CommChat number 7.
Lucky 7.
Lucky 7. And we are lucky to have join us today Dr. Stuart Esrock, who runs the internship program at the University of Louisville. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good to be with you.
So, internships are a way a student can do what?
Well, get experience. I think we should distinguish the word and kind of the concept. I mean, I think a lot of students hear the term internship and they immediately think about the idea of getting academic credit for work experience. But I generally encourage students to think more expansively about the term, to include any kind of part-time work experience, whether it's for academic credit or not, that hopefully furthers their professional interest. And that's a way for students to explore fields they're interested in, network, begin to gain practical knowledge in the field, and really kind of find out what they really truly want to do and what they don't maybe want to do as well.
And so the internships are for Bachelor's of Science majors, definitely, because that's one of their criteria.
Yes,
right?
if we're talking about for academic credit.
Academic credit, that piece of
if we're
it.
going to think of the
That,
term in kind of the formal sense, then we're talking about a work experience for academic credit. And for communication internship, then we're looking for communication majors, either BA or BS students, but also the minors potentially can do it as well. As you noted, the BS students have to do it in order to graduate.
But it counts for the BA students.
As a 300 level elective, if they qualify.
Comm317.
Now, I can't just sail into your office in May and say, oh, I just did an internship, can I?
Well, many students try that.
Yes,
There's
good
an important
scenario.
date this week.
Well, there's a date coming up this week. It's Thursday, November 10th at 11 a.m. We'll have an internship information meeting, and we'll go over the parameters of the program and kind of getting to what you alluded to. We don't give academic experience for past work experience. We don't give academic credit for people who may have already started a position. Everything needs to be set up in advance. We need to make sure the student has at least a 2.5 GPA to start, and then we have to make sure that they've had the prerequisite course or courses that would set them up to have the kind of experience that warrants academic credit. We believe in the idea of students furthering their professional development, but that's different than the reason we give academic credit. We give academic credit to students that we think are ready to have meaningful applied learning experiences where they're taking key communication concepts and theories that they've learned in advanced level courses, and they're using those out in the field to solve real world problems. So there are prerequisites depending on the kind of internship the student wants to do.
I find it helpful, and many students may not know this, on our communication website, our Department of Communication website, there's a link that says internships.
Yeah, that's right.
And you click on that.
Dozens.
Actually hundreds.
Hundreds.
If students go to comm.louisville.edu, and maybe they'll put that under here.
It's going to be right here.
If you go there and then click on the link on the left side of the page that says internships, there's a couple of things that are there. One thing that's there is information about kind of getting academic credit for internships. And then the other thing is we've got a listing of 200 plus positions that we update on an annual basis. There's kind of constant churn in positions that are being removed and others that are being put up. They're broken down by category, and those are available to all students 24/7, whether they want to do an internship for credit or not. We post positions that we think are of interest to students, and if there's any employers that look at that happen to look at this, there's a link there for employers to post positions as well.
Well, you know, in our economy, which we know is in the less than excellent shape right now, I read lots of news stories about companies extending internships to people who have already graduated, where a person basically either works for next to nothing or free for a company, and yes, you get experience, but at the same time, the company gets a nearly free or totally free employee. Have you seen some of that?
I mean, we have. I would say that there's some number of students that are they graduate and they really haven't received the kind of professional experience they need to kind of make themselves a viable candidate for a job. And one piece of advice I give to all students is whether you do it for credit or not, I think these part-time work experiences are the most important things that students can do before they graduate if they're going to make themselves a viable candidate in the marketplace. When I used to hire people in the advertising and PR business, the first thing I would do is grab the resume and I'd take a look under work experience, and if somebody didn't have experience, they weren't a candidate, and particularly in this economy, as you indicate, you know, it's mandatory that students get experience. So getting back to your question, there's a number of students that kind of reach that point of graduation, they don't have that experience. So they go out and, I guess for lack of a better term, what they do is they kind of offer themselves to employers as a postgraduate intern.
And sometimes what I call an extern.
Yeah, and they're going to use that experience basically after they graduate. It's kind of to get their foot in the door and to begin to make some contacts with some people.
And they are valuable.
And network, and it's a valuable experience. The U.S. Labor Department has been cracking down on companies that are looking for, you know, quote unquote free labor. And I think that employers out there are kind of generally aware now that they're kind of treading on thin ice if they kind of go too far. So I think most employers in this community are that hire interns are interested in kind of bringing bright, smart, young, talented, enthusiastic people into their organization and have them add something and add a different perspective. And in some instances, they're going to use that to kind of screen those people to see if maybe they're the right kind of person for that organization in the long term.
So to get a marketable skill, once you're out of the University of Louisville as a graduate, it will help to have an internship, and oftentimes internships end up becoming real jobs as well.
I would say it's not the rule. It's probably the exception, but it does occur. It does happen,
and it helps you market yourself. Even more, as we talked about.
Yeah, well, and you're making contacts. You're building a skill set. You're building references. And again, as a potential employer, I'm going to look at that resume and I want to see that you've had multiple experiences in my industry and that you know people in my industry, and that indicates to me that you have a knowledge base, and you as a student then are kind of a more of a known commodity, and so I'm more likely to look at you.
Okay, so for those who want an internship, Stuart.Esrock@louisville.edu. Meeting on November 10th. Thank you, Dr. Stuart Esrock, for joining us. And
Great
that's all for
topic.
CommChat. We will see you next time.